Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is Sunday. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Welcome to the channel. I have some wonderfully fabulous friends, but I don't run this game, so I'm going to turn this over to Pope. Actually, that side. And he's going to do all the spiel.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope will build on the internets. I will be your humble storyteller amongst storytellers this evening as we return to Mass Effect: The Gathering Dark. There's a series of hanging questions as we return to the group. Questions about virtual intelligences, shadowy organizations, whether or not one's friends may be in some form of danger, who keeps acquiring or copying people's, trademarked goods. Um, it's there's a lot there. Also, how much time will it take to piece together a Krogan a second time in the matter of a month? And will they find all the parts for Argos? Or will Argos have yet another screw loose? Um, we shall see. But let's find out who all these wonderful people are, who they are playing, and for absolutely no ulterior motives, what's a weapon that you are looking to acquire? Uh, so let's go around the horn and find out. Hey Jesus, how you doing? Who you playing? And what would you love to acquire?
Hey guys, this is Jesus, and I am once again playing Kryn. Kryn, who is after combat with these various individuals, is slightly worried that this might all be tied to a human group with a superiority complex, and also worried that that same group built the ship that we are currently on. Uh, Additionally, this one would not necessarily require a weapon because this one's weapon is its mind, but would desire something that perhaps either enhance their biotic abilities or perhaps their potential or their intelligence, whichever one seems most appropriate.
Mm, what I'm hearing is Omnitoolware.
Ooh, interesting.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Um, Someone who definitely has an eye for things that go boom is played by PB. How you doing, PB? And who you playing?
Hi, I'm PB. Today I'm playing Leon, a our token human sniper, and I am man. Does she have a long bucket list of snipers she's been looking at? But probably the most impressive one is the ever elusive Black Widow sniper rifle. Um, and also looking at the incisor is the other one she's been looking at,
Oh,
but those are like her like bucket list weapons that she's been looking at. Also like the N7 Valiant is another one. But like she doesn't know she wants to go back to that life, so she doesn't really know if she wants to use that kind of weapon right now. Some bad memories associated with those guys.
oh, oh, interesting, in depth, and I love the analysis. Personal favorite, the Indra. Um, So, someone who definitely has an eye towards explosions, sometimes being at ground zero for them, would be played by Chris. How you doing, friend? Who you playing, and why are you interested in acquiring?
Yes, Chris Kinneas, aka the Painting Pirate, he, him pronouns, playing bars, also he, him pronouns, and now officially the hottest member of the crew, thanks to Tazik. Uh, insofar as weaponry, normally Bars's response to something like this would be a range of fun and increasingly high quality explosives. However, that's not the role he has wound up in with this particular group. He hasn't, in fact, gotten to throw more than one single grenade this whole time. He has become our party's tank. And so, whilst he does have the universe's strongest melee weapon built into him naturally in the form of a Krogan skull plate, all he really has other than that is his Omni Hammer, so something that is more helpful for melee combat, given that he seems to be winding up in that a lot more than he's used to, is definitely something he has his lizardy eye on.
Oh, I think something dropped adjacent to you. Might need
Yeah.
some repairs due to the temperature of the room
Mm-hmm.
when it dropped, but I think it can be fixed. Someone who is all about raising the temperature in the room is played by Mandy. How you doing, friend? And what are you interested in acquiring?
Hello, I'm Mandy. I go by Lady Luck 34 on the internet. I am playing Inos Tazik, who is a Solarian engineer, and had an unfortunate sequence of events that resulted in explosions last time. Emphasis on unfortunate and unintended side effects. And I feel that Tazik would not be looking for weapons or equipment for herself, but rather would be very interested in finding one of the like Elcor weapon systems that's like the mounted
Oh,
uh
something that you can mount a light autocannon onto.
like for Argos when I rebuilt him.
There's part of me that's very excited by this, but there's also a part of me that realizes light autocannon means I need to increase the enemy volume cap. Because yeah, that is a way to clear a room. Someone who
Wanting it and getting it are not necessarily the same things, since this is a Elcor armor equipment system. Despite my Elcor shaped power armor, does not mean I have hands on yet. But the
Yeah.
dream.
the dream is alive. And the person in charge of keeping all of these people alive is our good doctor, played by Prax. How you doing, friend? And what are you interested in acquiring?
Hey everybody, I'm your friendly neighborhood Prax. Welcome to the channel. This time we get Pope to be all of the fun in charge things. I am playing your friendly neighborhood doctor, Drell Doctor, Uthuru Soul, here to keep people alive and do an occasional murder. And I was looking through these options and realizing that there really isn't anything I want as a weapon aside from one thing.
Oh,
I mean, if somebody finds an N7 Crusader, I wouldn't be mad.
good to know.
But
That is
I'm
a
very
very
happy with
specific
my...
weapon.
It is a very specific weapon. It is a very specific weapon. It is officially my favorite shotgun in the entire game. For a variety of reasons. But it is also why I am very, very happy with my monoblade that we have done interesting things to at this moment. But in addition to me welcoming you all here, and before I turn it back over to Pope, I need to remind you that we are doing a low-key fundraiser for the rest of this month, celebrating Fisher House Foundation and specifically children of military families. Fisher House provides care, housing, and support for military members and their families while either of those military members or their families undergo treatment at various VA hospitals around the country. So this is a very low-key kind of support, although I would like to mention that although we didn't stream yesterday, there is a thing on the table, which I'm going to extend because I didn't stream yesterday, through the end of today, that somebody mentioned if we made $200, there would be something that I absolutely hate and only fight in an armored vehicle for a reason, because it's evil, personified.
Yeah. But it's worth more if you fight it on foot.
You only have to do that once to get the achievement.
Yeah, but it's worth more XP if you fight it on foot.
Actually, no, it's not. Not since the Legendary Edition came out.
That is a correction I do not agree with.
Unless you're playing on hero mode.
We could be heroes. just for one day.
Now,
Uh,
now it's all you, and I have that. But the
Yeah.
link is in chat, and there you go. Have fun.
Yes. So if we get to $200, there is a very big thing that will happen in their future. If we can get to 400 by the end of the month, the entire team will get some very significant upgrades. So it's interesting how that's sequenced. That was on purpose. So when last we left off, there was a very large explosion after a very thorough negotiation between some outlying members of the Blood Pack, token human in their midst, who managed to escape. And now that the room has cooled down, they've been discussing some of the ramifications of how that human got away, and they asked whether or not their ship, VI for now, could hear them. To which Norbert responded, "Yes, I can hear you." And that's where we'll pick up.
Oh, um, this one, this one. Oh,
Norbert, I would like to remind you that there are ethics involved in anything relating to medical doctor-patient confidentiality.
I do have a number of ethical subroutines available, Doctor.
Good. Just make sure you read through the Citadel's board standards for ethics exam and ensure that you're abiding by all requirements.
Noted.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Norbert. You're a great help. And she just kind of like makes eye contact with Kryn and being like, yes, they're a great help.
Kryn is doing the Hanar with his lights. Is doing the Hanar equivalent of "What the fuck?"
Morse code.
Yeah.
And then she'll turn around and see if she can't provide further aid to our Krogan friend.
After he's doing okay. I'm like half health
Yeah.
at this point. So Bars ain't too bothered. He's been busily trying to gather up the bits of Argos to condense them back together to make them as easy to transport as possible.
Yeah, you did find that pallet jack in one of the side rooms, and yeah, no, you're able to, with some effort, get all that hasn't been carbonized of Argos, as well as what now, after the fact, little salvage is left due to the large fireball consuming most things, including the corpses of those that you dealt with. That having a cascading series of the equivalent of a firebomb go off twice in a confined space, it is a small miracle that all of you are still alive.
Hey, Tazik would have gotten all of the laptops that we had found, as well as the bits and pieces of Argos back onto this pallet, and been like, Well, guess somebody should report back and the rest of us will head back to the ship? Question mark.
This
Um,
this will go, and I assume as Etzley as well, since you have had contact with her.
No,
yeah,
I
I'm sure.
wasn't present, but I've heard the stories and seen the vids. Grin, should you really be the one to go back there?
This one does not remember much of what happened, but this one is sure that Arya will not put what had happened to me and my behavior against them. But if you think it is unwise, then perhaps Esley should go on her own.
Whoever just throws up a GIF from the video of Kryn just going around and declaring that his friend is the best, and then as it cycles through, oblivious to danger, then appears over the screen in the GIF.
Oh God, it's discovered memes.
Hey Norva, can you just send that one to? Can you just email that to me? Thank you. I'd really appreciate that.
This one-
Certainly, already assembling GIF folder.
This one is going back to the ship, and just Kryn just floats, just down in the dumps. Oh, this one remembers after you finish with Arya. This one remembers Esley. You wish to go to my contact about weapons?
Yes. Yes.
You
You're
mute
muted.
yourself.
I would like to go get acquainted.
Mhm. Then perhaps we should meet my contact first. Then you can go see Arya. While I shuffle over to the ship in shame.
That sounds like a good plan, Kryn.
Mm.
Very mature of you.
That is sure. This one is glad. Why? Float, float, float.
Poor Grin. Can an R feel embarrassment?
Oh yes,
Oh yeah.
at our experience, all the full spectrum of emotions.
Yep. And we show a lot of it in our the lights that are across our body, and there's clear like, oh God, I can't believe that I did that mixed with the hangover. That's just a mixture of it.
Tazek would be going back to the ship. I know that we still had was it a Volus contact that I was pointed towards that was near?
Yeah, part of the reason you did the job for Arya was to get that introduction, because that particular Volus is
Oh, Hank.
yes, Hank is quite paranoid, and also doesn't come cheap.
Then Tazek would be like, Etzley, I trust you. Don't forget to ask about Hank. Also, if you see one of the Batarians, ask them about the best care for Baron. Just cause.
Okay. Yes. Sure. Yeah. Uh-huh. We'll do. Bavarian?
I don't love the idea of you going alone. That you want someone with you.
I would like someone else with me. Just in case anything goes down. If we have any volunteers from the crew.
Bars just he glances between the rest of the group, like gaze definitely lingering on Tazek. The expression of "Do I really trust you alone?" But
I don't think we're exactly spoiled from choice, so I'll go.
Do you wish my company or not?
I would love your company, Doc.
Okay, so we have Team Ship and we have Team Bar. Team Bar consists of Etsley, the Doc, um, Darth Krogan at this point because your armor is completely carbon scorched black.
If the doc is going to go with Edsley to the bar, then bars will go back to the ship.
Okay, so no Darth Krogan. Got it.
Darth Krogan just heading home.
Mhm.
He probably is needed to help move Argos anyway.
Yep.
I mean, if you wanted to make a statement by showing up with your armor completely blasted.
That would be kind of badass.
I don't hate it. I just don't want Tazik left on the ship with all the VI unattended, and Kryn doesn't count.
I want to say something, but you're right.
This tracks.
This tracks.
In fairness, Tazik's gonna be very focused on trying to like sparse through the bits of Argos. So I don't know how much actual VI related trouble will be made while you all are gone. But at the same time, this is Tazik.
So we're going to arm to the teeth first, or are we going to the bar first?
What?
Kryn you were just going to meet the dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was going to go with Esley. We can
Yeah.
do that after Esley finishes up with Arya.
With Arya? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's have Etsley and the Doc break from the group, heading off to the club, and they different guards because shift change has happened, but one of the bouncers at the door like sees the two of you coming up, and it just like waves you to a head of line.
I mean, at this point, the doctor is very singed. Like, there's a lot of scorch marks on that leather coat. And like maybe like a couple.
You got, yeah, like Etsley, most of the time, the entire fight, invisible, away from danger. Rest of y'all, not so much. So yeah, like the doctor's sun-kissed, lightly braised, are the words that come to mind. Of your, as opposed to Cajun style, blackened, which some of the team resemble.
Oh no! The doctor's a lot closer to Cajun Blackened. Remember, she's the one that failed all of the saves.
Oh, right. So closer, but you weren't at ground zero.
No, I did heal myself, and I had a whole lot of tech armor to do so. But
yeah, so like one of you
A lot of
looking
smoke
like
damage.
looking like an extra from an action film, and then Etsley.
Got a little soot on the back, but that's really it.
There's a few like impact marks on your armor, but nothing too deep. But yeah, the bouncer like gestures you guys forward. Boss is looking for you. Go ahead and go in. Head straight there, considering that the environmental systems, whatever it is that you guys did, just had to spike in power for at least an hour.
Gotta get the job done one way or another. And I'll just walk on in. And I'll head straight there. I don't have any other business here in Afterlife.
Yep. You head up. The guards just like again gesture you on through, and they're not lounging, standing, waiting for you. As you come in, Arya turns. And before you can say anything, I would hope the problem is dealt with. Considering an
Thoroughly.
entire 3 floors got nearly depleted of oxygen.
They surprisingly had more explosive material on their bodies than one would expect in Fortia.
I see you having encountered Vorcha often.
Not in this capacity, at least. And I'm on my Omni tool and sending over the video to Arya of what happened to the blood plaque.
She quickly like reviews it, like 2 times speed's a thing in the future, and just like keeps replaying the section where like there's the explosion followed by the second explosion, and then bars still standing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is he hireable? Like, did you contract him? Is he available?
He is on the contract right now, but he is hireable after we finish our mission.
Give me his contact information, please.
I will send that over.
Thank you. Well, you did deal with the problem. So, an agreement's an agreement. I'll make certain that you get an audience with Hank. He's not far. Essentially exit the club through the lower level. Head through the narrow corridor. When you pass the second waste disposal unit, you've gone too far. He's in a darkened corner. Lights have been deliberately taken out of the area. There is a slightly larger than Volus-sized door. Knock 3 times. He'll know that you're coming.
No explosions that I need to be aware of before approaching that door, right?
No, I would hope the number of explosions that you are going to be causing, experiencing, having aboard my station is done for at least the foreseeable cycle. Now, as for the info that you asked for, this is what I have on your human interest group. They've been sniffing around here. I'm not found. But they look to be acquiring a lot of hired help lately. So unless there's something of particular interest, I believe we're done.
This is the general group. Do we have any other? This was all we wanted from Arya, right?
I believe
I
so.
believe this is. Yeah.
I think it was just we wanted the introduction to Hank and then any information that could be provided about Cerberus.
Okay. And that
The question's about the Varen, but that's less important here.
This one
Also,
suggests you don't
bodyguard
ask about the Baron.
I'll ask one of the guys, one of the bodyguards later. And I will nod in respect and be like, thank you for doing business, and I hope you enjoy that mod.
She nods and gives you a look of, "We're done. Please leave."
I will walk out.
So do you head directly to Hank's, or are you going to over and meeting Kryn up over by To the Teeth?
I'm gonna give like a quick once-over inside Afterlife to see if there's anyone here that looks like they have information about Varen.
Go ahead and just give me a perception test, please.
We'll do. What are we at normal? A 13.
Not so much. There are people that are there to dance, to get high, and to ogle. That is what is there right now.
That's fair enough. And I'll look over at the dock and be like, well, we got her in with Hank. Okay.
And remind Prax, the player, who wanted to talk to Hank? Was that Tazik who wanted to talk to Hank? Yeah, right?
Both Tazik and Etzli had reasons to want to talk to Hank.
Oh, sorry. It's like, okay. So then she'd turn to Etzli and says, like, well, if you don't need me anymore, I'll let Tazik know that you have the opening for Hank, and I will see if I can't do something on the ship to better our odds in the future.
I look forward to finding out what that means. Yeah, sounds good to me. I'll go meet up with Kryn.
Now, before we meet up with Kryn over at To the Teeth, both Bars and Tazik have gotten back onto the ship. And you have the bits of Argos. Carl comes over and makes a sound like he is displeased.
To clarify, displeased, not sad, displeased.
Yeah, that's an important distinction I was going to ask too.
No, distinctly like displeasure, like he is upset with you.
Hey, Carl, this isn't how we wanted it to go, but accidents happened. We're gonna rebuild it.
Oh.
We might need to order some components. I don't know if we have everything we need on the ship, but I have an idea. And I think we can make Argos stronger.
What exactly do you have in mind? Exactly.
Well, I have heard about the haunted armor before. And I might be able to reach out to some people specifically to get something directly from the Elcor. So rather than a power armor I have fashioned as an Elcor, why not just make it like Argos was an Elcor?
Are you going to put an Elcor brain in Argos?
Biochemistry isn't really my background. But I'm sure the doc would help.
No. I don't think she would.
I know Fallout has just released on Amazon, but we do not need to be robo-braining in my Mass Effect.
Well, I did say that it wasn't my background. Like, that, not quite my skill set.
That wasn't you saying you don't want to do it.
Well, I mean, like, what if we just programmed him like an Elcor?
That's different. That's fine. You've heard how Elcor speak, though, right?
I'm sure between a few of us, we can write the correct language modifiers to make this really funny.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go check.
No. You had me at funny.
What if we made it Elcor language but sarcastic?
What if we trained it on some of those vids Crim's been watching?
Sold.
Cutscene to Kryn waiting for Etzli in his room, watching some soap operas, and just shivering. This one feels like a bad idea has just happened.
Okay, great. I'm gonna head to engineering because I need to figure out what I still have here that's salvageable from these components, and then start cross-referencing what we have in the cargo hold, and then what I'm gonna need to order, because Argos did get a little crispy. It'll be fine, Carl. I promise.
Yeah, there's just the worrying of accusatory and disappointed servos as Carl floats away in the background.
It's just like yelling at us, don't you want to help, Carl?
Let him go sulk. I'll help. I know I usually more take things apart, but I ain't so bad at putting them back together, too.
Well, for now we're organizing, because I don't even know what we got here. It's just like a pile of pieces of metal. And heads over to, I guess, the elevator to head to the engineering and setup.
Before we
As
leave,
part of-
before we leave the group, go ahead, since Bars is helping you. Give me an engineering test at advantage, Tazek.
Right?
Throughout this process, Bars will also have retrieved Buttercup to hang out, since she's been cooped up in this
Yes.
quarters for a while. So Buttercup's going to be hanging out for this process as well.
Buttercup was not in the bathtub this time.
No. But you got a 22. So I have news. You have about 70% of the components that you need to rebuild Argos between what remains and what's on the ship. 30% of the components you are going to need to acquire elsewhere.
Okay.
Like a lot of the hydraulics and the gyros that make Argos mobile, you're going to have to get brand new ones, and those aren't things that you normally have on the ship.
Yeah.
So we're talking a lot of actuators and gyros. Not something that you're normally going to be able to find on Omega.
I feel like once we'd sorted through, this is the type of thing Tazek would have contacts throughout the galaxy from having done armoring work and what have you, and would have reached out to try and put in requests and orders through friends, through contacts, what have you. And this time would be trying to go to probably whatever the highest grade that she could acquire and had the money for.
Okay. Well, we'll get back to that. Now, let's go to the Teeth. So Kren, you get to introduce Etzley to your friend, the owner of Tooth Teeth, and his wondrous warehouse of used goods.
What was his name again?
Ah,
Completely lost it.
okay. Let me go to my notes. There are so many NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all get distracted by whatever happened last time. Like, oh, we were in combat and then we almost set bars on fire. We're like, why were we talking to this person?
I think his name is Marn. I
Marn.
have that written down here.
Okay. Marn,
No,
this one.
Barsoom. Marn Barsoom.
Barsoom,
that's
but you're correct. Okay. Barsoom, this one greets you again.
wasn't expecting you back so soon. What you got, Grin?
This one has nothing, but this one wanted to make an introduction to a friend of mine who wished to speak with you. And this is Etzley. And I'm pointing a tentacle at Etzley.
Oh,
Hi, I'm Etzley.
What can I do for you?
I was just curious. Now, this is between friends. I was wondering about the crude shotgun that you sold us earlier. I had a curious barrel mod on it. I dabble in weapon mods, and it was interesting. It's not something I've seen on market. So I was just wondering if you recall where you acquired it, or if you have any familiarity with that equipment.
No familiarity with the equipment. A lot of things passed through here. Just noted what it did to the weapon, which, again, hell of a kick, but also made the accuracy kind of just like sideways. Might have tag for who brought it in, just in case, somebody pissed off the wrong person and pirated. I want to make certain that Aria and the locals don't get too itchy. So give me a sec. Oh. Came from a merc human, Mitchell. Don't know if that's a first or a last name. Think memory serves. Cat 6. Ex-Alliance military guys.
Pat 6. What exactly does that mean?
You're human. You have a better idea than me. I just know which thing that they call the organization.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that's more information that I came in here with. Thank you very much, Marn.
Again, I don't usually follow these things. If somebody acquired something from you by less than, legal means, not my business.
I understand your business. No worries. I've been in and out of the business also, so no worries. I was just curious about this piece. But thank you very much, and thank you, Corinne, for introducing me to your wonderful friend here.
Of course, this one knows that Barsoom will give you the best deals and holds the tentacle up like a thumbs up.
There's just like a slight grin and nod from Barsoom. As you guys head out, let's go. I think Etzley has a better memory than Peepy. So, I'm going to give you this. The person that sent you the encrypted message, your friend,
Mhm.
they're with Cat 6.
Mm. Hmm.
And as for Category 6, that's the uh, Alliance military's version of a Section 8.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now the team can get back together before figuring out who's going to go and meet Hank. So, Doc, you've been on your own devices. What have you been up to?
Uh, she has sent uh the like standard requirements for board certification uh for ethics like the ethics exam to both Norbert and Carl. Um it's like, oh, we are so far down this rabbit hole, there's no coming back. Let's just start feeding it ethics requirements and expectations.
Like, Norbert just takes the information. This is something that should both alarm you, but also it's very telling. Um, Carl usually doesn't do emails.
Yes.
Carl has emailed you.
Oh, what has Carl emailed me?
I don't need this. I don't care.
You're going to be working with me in any capacity. You have to meet these standards. I'm required to meet these standards. So are you.
Maybe after my brother is alive again.
I'm sorry I can't fix that. I only work with organics.
Sounds like a lapse in your capabilities, Doctor.
I'm a doctor, not a mechanic. That's what your parent is for. Also,
There's just
I'm going to make sure that every other VI on this ship has that same communication. And then she's going to start scrolling through all of the conspiracy theory web pages because of that wonderful poison that is being developed. Somebody's got to have started to market this at this point, right? Like, how is this getting marketed? What is happening? How can you synthesize this, right? Because it's made at the point of turning someone into a husk. How close are people getting to husks to start extracting this secretion, I guess? And
residue.
Whatever we're gonna go with, like there has to be somebody talking about it now on a black market at this point.
Go ahead and give me a electronics test.
Oh, this is gonna go well. Oh, not horrible. It's a 12.
12. If it's on the web, you're not being able to access the section of the web that is dealing with this. Like, version of Mass Effect Google is giving you absolutely nothing.
Yeah, well, she'll have that kind of, like, that's where she's doing that. She's also doing any further analysis that she can on that to ensure that she knows that this is created as a secretion from the creation of husks. She wants to see if there's any way she can take that information and create something like a vaccine against, well, the impalement is a problem, but
The impalement's a bit of the problem.
I can't help with the being impaled on a giant spike, but maybe I can do something about being, forcibly changed. Or at least, maybe if it's not a vaccine, maybe it's you can't. You might still get impaled and therefore dead, but don't end up turning because something acts as a kill switch for whatever forces the change.
It's a project you can work on in the background, but this is going to take some effort, and you may need to upgrade your lab in order to.
Yeah, she's fully
this.
prepared for. She's fully prepared that this is going to take time.
So, Etsley, you're back with Kryn. You can decide on who's going on a field trip to Hanks.
Well, Tazik wanted to talk to Hank also. She had her own agenda. And I'll pop in and check on I'll tell Kryn to go check on the doc because I know they're in the med bay working. So I'll be like, go see if the doc is busy, Kryn.
This one will check.
If they are, I don't think they had any interest in talking to Hank. So I mean, just ask her, I guess. And I'll go check on bars.
Okay.
And then we can meet up at Tazik's.
Okay. I'm gonna go over to see what the doctor's doing.
The doctor is running a lot of experiments, and would acknowledge you coming in, but is basically has the readout running from 3 different monitors of various analyses running. The temperature also has risen and the humidity has dropped in this space at the moment.
Knowing the doctor, would this be sign of too busy to do anything else but focus on this, or is just your usual mode?
Kind of a usual mode, but not hyper focused, but focused, willing to acknowledge you if you talk to her or ask something. But
okay, doctor, this one wonders if you would also like to see this Hank individual that we have come all the way here to speak with, and also made that deal that nearly had us blown up.
Sure. Volus or Volus, I'm here to engage with. This test can run for another 4 hours. By the way, and she kind of narrows her eyes and looks at Kryn.
I float an inch back. Yes.
I know how often you're watching those stories, Kryn.
This one swears. This one has it under control. This one just watches it in the background while performing other acts.
On good. One of your monitors, it just flashes up the clinical definition of an addictive personality.
I don't even care. This one doesn't even care about the stories. They're all full of cliches. I've seen this one has seen 1,000,000 times. It's just something to hear about in the background. I don't even care. This one doesn't even care about any of the characters. They're worthless characters, especially Susan.
So you won't care if I revoke all of your privileges then?
Well, this one wishes to speak. Perhaps this one has watched a bit too much. This one does need to catch up with every series. Perhaps this one focuses on one series until this series is finished. It's not... Binging is perfectly acceptable, correct? If it's one series?
Limiting hours.
This one is not a podling.
You're acting like one.
This one is hurt.
Am I wrong?
Eight hours.
Fine. Take visual breaks.
Fine.
your optic nerve and visual spectrum is not the standard for a blue screen availability that is put forward through various humanoid species.
This would have put on shades.
On what?
And Kryn does the Hanar equivalent of a pout and just floats away.
You have no eyes! Like,
This one doesn't care. You're not my mom.
no,
Float.
I'm your doctor! 8 hours, max.
And I float back to Esley. And basically say, like, whenever I meet up, he's like, oh, doctor's coming. Grumble, grumble.
And the doctor will come up and has replaced the leather jacket with a new one. This time, instead of black and red, it's red with black accents. And has got a bag and the sword tucked inside the leather coat. You know, although no one can really see it because, you know, if you wear a long leather trench coat, it means that there's
Highlander
no
rules.
Highlander rules, so you can't see a sword anywhere.
Yeah, that's the law.
And I'm like, there's some weird energy here. Let's just go see if Bars wants to come and grab Tazik.
Carl just floats behind you, and you just get a flip on your Omni tool, Doc getting you down. We can watch this new series I found together.
And on my Omni tool, there's a message back to Carl like, I knew I would like you, Carl. This one knew that I would like you. Now tell me about the series secretly. And it's just we just text back to each other about what the characters and all of that. Wait, this one's a triplet? Oh my god!
So those two are going back and forth about, you know, the Mass Effect equivalent of Transformers Beast Wars.
Yes! Yes! Beast Wars!
So that's a thing. As Etzli, you find Bars.
I'm like, hey, Bars, you around here?
Yeah, Bars is, I presume, still down
In engineering,
helping
yeah.
Tazik with the repairs on or the assessment of repairs on Argos.
And I'll hear that sounds of working on something, I'm assuming. And then I'll pop around and be like, hey, I'm done with my business with Kryn's friend. We're about to head over to Hank's if you want to come.
Remind me who the hell Hank is.
It's a paranoid Volus, who's like an information broker. We're gonna get some information off of him about.
Oh yeah, I'll come.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, we bring in this one.
Nods over to Tazik.
Tazik would have been sorting the various components to like, no good, this one's fine, puts it over, and like has like a little washing station running to try and clean up all the scorch marks off of what's left of Argos. Remind me, out of character for a second, was Hank the one I was going to talk to about the component for Argos, or was this something else?
This was about the component, its origins, and what was on it.
Okay. I'll still have that information, so we're still going to go through it, but I think it'll be slightly less urgent now that we've like one-hit KO'd Argos and need to rebuild him.
I mean, I still have the chip. The chip is still chilling under a red Solo cup in my workshop, so
It's like a spider.
yeah, exactly.
was like, so Tazik would have been doing these things, like heard y'all and been like, oh yes, we need to talk to Hank. And like, I don't know, inputs a couple things into a display, everything starts slightly automating in terms of stuff going into like, I don't know, like a power washing machine, but for
no,
electronics.
You've got multiple sonic washers running of different varying sizes.
Basically, like, yeah, okay, well, now we need to prep all of these components to be able to like start rebuilding Argos. So sets all of that to go and is like, turns around, you grab the chip and we're all set. That's all I need to take. Where did you get any answers about the Baron?
No, didn't really have the she was really busy when we got there, and I really didn't have time to get any extra info out of her. Sorry.
Fine, we'll find someone else.
Are we doing this diplomatic or
as much as we can? I think he's a paranoid one from what I've heard from anyone and everyone who's referred to him. So I would believe Hank has some protocols if certain things go down. Real only thing is that it's been mentioned to me that he is a little on the pricier side to get information out of, so just be prepared for that.
Well, my friend sent us their way. My friend whose name I've forgotten.
Rala.
That was in my other notebook that I have misplaced.
Oh no.
And is like, okay. Well, we'll see if that gets us any sort of discount or freebies. But all right, cool. You have the chip?
I still need to go grab it. It's still well secured in my workshop. I'll go grab it. And you guys can discuss amongst yourself who's gonna actually talk to Hank.
Hold on. Hey, Tazik. Why were you running Edsley to ask Arya about Varen?
Wow. When this whole thing started, you were still unconscious. So I just wanted to make sure that we knew the exact things that are necessary to take care of a Varen. Like, Norbert, I appreciate, but he's just a ship BI. I don't know what his background with pet care is. So it was very important that we talked to somebody with more experience to ensure that Buttercup was going to be great while you were unconscious. Did not anticipate that you would be awake by now, but it still feels like something really important we should be aware.
I have you know that I'm ASPCA certified.
This one does not know what that means.
Certified you.
Yes. I find dog shows refreshing.
How many hours of dog shows have you been watching?
Oh, I have all of the program. Dating back since 1983 when they started airing.
Let me make this real clear to both of you. When something happens to me, the only one on this damn ship who is taking care of Buttercup is Edsley.
I mean, I assumed that was the case, but I just wanted to make sure that I was on the off chance it was necessary.
This one would also want to help, but Varen like my tentacles. Too much.
I run up. I run back, and I have the chip secured in the...
Oh, before we do the chip secure, I'm rolling this die.
Oh, no.
Oh,
You said it was under a red solo cup in your quarters.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Carl.
Chip's not there.
I'll be like, hey, Norbert.
Hmm?
You have cameras in here, right?
I have some cameras. I try not to run those.
That's actually really considerate of you, Norbert. Thank you very much for respecting...
I don't like humanoid
my...
fornication, and you guys are far too thirsty.
You know the word that's later. Well, we can talk later, Norbert.
I see a lot of video evidence of that in the soap operas. Yes.
I ask, hey, what happened to the chip that was under this cup?
Don't know about any sort of chip. I think Carl said there was a very cool insect under said cup and acquired it.
I'm gonna come. I'm gonna be like, hey Norbert, can you pull up Tazik's put me on FaceTime with Tazik real quick?
Certainly. Patching through.
Thank you, Norbert. Hey Tazik.
What's up?
Hey, I need you to talk to your boy, Carl. Apparently he took the initiative to take this chip earlier.
He seems to be at that age. That's what all the parenting books are telling me. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with the attitude, but I'll ask. Is Carl anywhere in the engineering bay?
Oh no, he is staying away from what is essentially like the hospital bay for his brother.
Last seen walking with Kryn, or hovering with Kryn.
And then when they transform, they go into a bigger mode, but then transform into a bigger mode that they call the big mode.
I'm having flashbacks to the Big O.
If your kid has started stealing our shit, I got some Krogan parenting methods we can start trying.
Might eventually need that. So we've caught up. Carl, have you been picking up things from other people's rooms? Just asking.
Well, considering the security level of that contraband and it being improperly air gapped, I figured it needed to be better secured.
So where is it?
It's in a lead-lined container in airlock C.
Where'd you find a lead-lined container? Gesturing at Edsley to be like, go, somebody go check and make sure it's there.
The pantry has a number of them.
Okay.
This one is impressed. That is extremely secure.
Why do we have those in the pantry?
That was gonna be my question, yeah.
Pantry handles overflow from engineering.
That seems ill-advised.
Have you been putting extra components when there's too much in engineering and in the pantry?
I haven't. Norbert has.
Norbert, I appreciate your level of organization, but when I put things places, it's so that I remember that they're there.
Your organizational methods are unorthodox.
But they work for me. I do have to ask. I appreciate that you have a backup storage facility already prepared. But this explains why I couldn't find that M2 component I was looking for. Is that in the pantry now?
M2 components are with the tools, as the M2 components can only interface with M2 tools.
Why would you put it there?
See previous statement.
And as I get the lead line case and I see the chip in there, hopefully.
The chip's in there. However, something has gone awry.
What's gone awry?
As you open the case, the chip has somehow infiltrated the metal case. Like it has bonded to it. It hasn't gotten to the exterior yet because lead is very thick. But yeah, I rolled the incredibly happy face, so it didn't corrupt your room systems.
Oh. I'm going to find another larger lead case to put this lead case in. Gonna just throw behind me, whatever, or just dump it out. I'm just gonna take a box and dump it out and put the other one in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna come back. Well, this is why I had it in the middle of a room. Granted, maybe I could have done something else with it. But I was a little bit on the time crunch. So maybe someone should ask next time. Teamwork makes the dream work. And let's just say that aloud. I'm not talking to anyone. But they know who I'm talking to. And how come as I'm walking back investigating this phenomena, I'm like, well, something interesting has happened with this chip. Probably no longer usable for Argos, so you'll probably have to get a new one of these. But it seems to have integrated with the lead box.
Integrated with a box.
A lead box, yes. Not really good for conductivity, so it's probably trying to escape to get into something else. Kind of like
And
a
this
plant
chip-
with light.
This was in Argos.
Yes.
The chip was trying to escape the chip.
And that's when you feel the box inside the box jump a little.
What was that?
That was the chip, most likely. Interesting. Fascinating.
The chip
Worrisome.
the chip is
Fascinating, though.
mobile. It's a chip.
Well, it is. I mean, if you want to think about it, a chip is really just a lot of little components put together so they compute and do a job.
Most
in this
people
case,
do
it was
not get-
multiple jobs.
Most people do not give chips legs.
Well, it doesn't have legs. It might be trying to make legs.
Not make
Where did you
Fascinating.
get this chip?
I don't know. I bought off a dude in a side alley. It wasn't Omega. It was just like it seemed like it was a perfect fit for Argos. Clearly, that wasn't the case. There was a little bit of a red flag after our last misadventure, so I was looking into it while we were here.
Got it from a dude in a trench coat. He opened it up. There was a whole list of chips there. It seemed perfectly legit.
Tazek, is this your first time running with a crew?
I do normally work solo.
How are you alive?
I'm not often a field operative.
How many labs have you been kicked out of?
Oh, I run my own lab.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yep.
So on the bright side, we know there's something weird about this chip. It's not just me anymore.
This wouldn't suggest we hurry to Hank before the box becomes alive.
Could we?
Carl, I appreciate your security consciousness. Next time, please let us know when you're doing this or consult us before you do things. But we appreciate because clearly there's question marks all around this chip.
How big is this box?
The larger box that's containing the smaller box is. I have a box of Cheez-Its over here. 3 times the size of this box of Cheez-Its.
And the smaller box, the one that has the chip in it?
Is about the size of the box of Cheez-Its.
Okay, so small enough that if it became necessary to do so, we could, say, shove a grenade in there and solve the problem.
I'm not.
One of the
100%
micro
if that would
grenades?
solve the
Maybe.
I'd say we do that now, but if it becomes necessary.
Okay, well, are we all going? Is that the plan?
Yes.
This seems like a good idea. Yes.
Yep.
All right, cool. While I'm gone, Norbert, stop moving my stuff, okay? I appreciate that we have different formats for organization, but stop touching my things.
Noted.
And I will look at Carl and I'll be like, I appreciate you considering our safety in this moment. However, I would appreciate it if you would inform me before you made a decision. Everything I do in my lab is deliberate in one way or another. And I would really appreciate just a heads up.
Sort of a word of acknowledgement.
Thank you. All right.
As we head to leave, Bars will just sort of clap his hands twice and go,
Rookies.
because this time Buttercup's coming.
Oh.
He does not want to leave her alone on the ship with Carl and Norbert right now.
I mean,
they are not going
fair.
into something inherently dangerous.
Fair.
So you guys head down towards Hank's. You remember to knock on the door 3 times. The door automatically opens. Yes, in this darkened corner between, multiple like garbage bins off the beaten path in this narrow hallway.
This
and-
reminds me where I bought the chip, y'all.
and you guys squeeze into this. The door itself is about 2 hands thick. Like it's about 10 inches thick door. Not quite a blast door, but close. As you pass through, and it opens up into this surprisingly large room. Much higher ceiling than you were expecting. As the last one of you comes in, the door closes automatically behind you, and a hologram appears of a Volus. Well, Arya did say that there was a team of you. I was expecting only 1 or 2 representatives, not this many. So, what do you have to trade, and what are your questions?
Who's carrying the box with the chip?
I am.
Okay.
Mm.
So,
Okay. Like, because Tazik will just turn and point and be like, we have that, and point at the box.
that is a lead box. I'm not in the market.
Well, it's what's in the lead box that might be interesting to you. We're slightly concerned about taking it out,
But
though,
not-
because we've had a couple mishaps.
Not for trade, though. This is the information we would like. Any information you would have on this ship or about this ship.
A chip that you have kept in, looks like, from my scans, multiple boxes?
Yes. It was once part of a larger system, but due to some troubling behavior, we took it out to investigate more about it. And once we did so, we found out there was a subroutine or subroutine that was beyond findable information from normal means.
Chip's haunted.
And
Don't-
Rala sent us your way.
We're always good people.
Rala is
Uh,
good people.
I would need to have better access to scan the chip to be able to even answer any questions about it. But it sounds like you are in a situation where revealing the chip will be a security concern.
Yeah, and we don't want to do that to your place unless you want that, in which case we hold no responsibility for what happens after we open the box.
The location is very secured. I just do not want to have to activate the security features of this facility.
Which I would appreciate. Does that mean you have a different solution? Or are you saying you cannot provide us any information at this point?
Well, I also need something in trade in order to begin to answer your questions. Something of equal value.
How much value would that be?
Don't deal in credits, I deal in information.
But then I ask again about how much, how valuable would this have to be
You are looking
on a
at
scale of
something
1 to 10?
that's definitely in the realms of the exotic, just to start with. So I would think this is relatively valuable information. The equivalent to, say, naval movements, or, you know, where supplies are going to within a certain military.
How about
No,
something more? How about something more esoteric?
I'm listening.
I've noticed an uptick in a number of individuals who've had certain abilities, perhaps engaging in preparation for armed conflict with a certain other species.
The Batarian and Alliance conflict is noted.
Have you noted the Batarians' uptick in, shall we say, additives towards their weaponry?
Not surprising, but not necessarily no.
Have you
Please
noted
continue.
they've begun engaging in certain venomous attacks? Biological warfare, specifically targeted towards the humans. What's interesting on that biological warfare, however, is where it's coming from.
And where is that?
That seems to be very expensive. And I wish to know as I'm... And she, like, kind of looks down because... Drell! Volus hologram.
Yes.
It's like... I usually engage in conversations like this with an actual person, mostly because holograms such as this can be hacked. What is your security like?
Extensive. And
Hey, Norbert.
not easily hacked. Oh, you want to try and have Norbert cyber attack this?
No, I just
That
want to
is
see if
not
he
going to-
answers. I just want to see if he answers.
He doesn't.
Okay, cool. Disregard me.
It seems the Batarans are trading with certain, shall we say, undesirables for even Batarans.
Unsurprising, but unless I get details, there's not much that I can do.
They're trading
This is all
with who's ever
speculations.
creating the husks.
Ah. Reaper tech.
Tech is complicated. Reaper poisons. That's more accurate.
So you're saying that the Batarians are using Reaper technology to make a targeted anti-human bioweapon.
I'm saying they're using one. And given the way it's designed, it wouldn't be limited. Well, I'm sure you can extrapolate.
With the death of multiple planets, it is unsurprising that the Batarians would do something extreme. But this is good information. Considering the security on your ship's systems, I would be interested in the data that you currently possess that you obviously have running, but I can't get access to right
I'm not this person. This isn't the first time I've been around the block. I mean, and she'll kind of like gesture around. None of us is the first time. You think I would leave anything like that on a publicly accessible system?
Be surprised.
Doctor is not just a affectation.
Academics are messy.
I
Usually,
didn't say I was an academic, now did I?
temporarily please unbox the first box, and I might be able to have better scan capability of the chip in question. 2 layers of lead is a bit extreme even for my tech.
I think at that she's just gonna step back towards the door and like leave Etsley and Tazik to the communication and just make eye contact with Bars as like, you've got that side, I've got this. What side are you watching? So I'll watch the other one. Kind of thing.
And I just
open the box.
yeah, and Tazik is just like, once again, we are not held responsible for anything that happens after we open the box.
And just in case, I'm getting a gravity pulse ready, just in case.
Yeah. You open the box. There, you can definitely tell just by your Omni tools that from like the magnetic and electrical levels in the room just kind of spike temporarily. So whatever systems Hank has are definitely trying to work overtime. Please close the box.
Have to tell me twice.
Please deposit the box in, and a light illuminates. That, please.
And I'll look at Tazik and be like, "You cool with this? This is your stuff. You bought it."
Yeah. What are you scanning it differently?
No, I'm disposing of it.
We can't keep it. I know it's like a bug, but just checking.
You are in possession of a peculiarity of a now defunct human Taurian company that was trying to make leaps in biotech.
Well, that's not what I wanted. Why did somebody sell this to me?
Wait.
Okay, get rid of it.
Wait, that is a biological chip?
Biotechnological. It was to be integrated into, at the time, Taurian soldiers to cause a electrical override in their biological systems to have them continue fighting after they expired.
And because Corinne has seen a bunch of even sci-fi soap operas, it creates zombies?
In a manner of speaking.
Just for my comfort, how exactly are you going to destroy this?
Well, again, this entire thing is set up to multiple waste disposal systems. I have multiple crushers on demand. That one is quite small. And then I'm
And
going to
also-
send it into an incinerator, industrial grade.
Okay.
Thorough.
Yes.
Question:
Good.
what would this chip do to, say, a robotic system with AVI?
Trying to override it gradually and then make it exceptionally violent.
How likely is it that it would make it past
Check that.
partitions?
Considering that it is meant to interface with something that is bioelectrical, and then in any form of interruption of that bioelectricity or electrical signal, it would be pernicious in its means of trying to do its job.
Well, okay, so we need to do we'll just scan the leftover components of Argos real well before we build anything else.
I am going to put it in the where the light is, the
Mhm.
the
It's
slot, and I'll
it's
just
a little
shove it in.
slot that it's sort of like a book depository box, and you just kind of there's a while before you hear a thud, and then immediately one of the loudest and most obnoxious sounds in the world, which is the industrial crushing and grating of something at that, turn car into tiny flecks of metal sort of grater does.
And as I back away while it's doing the very obnoxious sound, I'll look at the group and be like, do we still want to ask about Cerberus?
Pazik is totally distracted, like, I'm never buying from this vendor again. I didn't ask for biotech. Why would they sell this to me?
Put a really bad Yelp review. It'll work. It'll definitely handle that.
Scathing email.
Considering that you were trying to have something that would format gyroscopes in order to balance a biological figure, Ms. Tazik, it's unsurprising that the vendor would sell you something that, at least in his mind, allowed for the manipulation of biological and technological matter.
Listen, those types of capacitors and gyros, like, it's not completely organic. It just functions and moves like it. What was the question?
I believe there was a mention of Cerberus.
We are trying to gather more information about Cerberus. We have recently come in contact with the group, and we did not know much about them aside from word of mouth recently.
I need a more specific query in order to gauge the information necessary to answer your query.
What was our query exactly? What did we exactly want to know here?
About where they possibly could. Actually, what is our question?
Forget what
Literally, my
prompted
notes
us to
is
want to
just
ask
says-
him.
Wasn't
Literally, my notes just say, ask about Cerberus. That's all my notes
Isn't it
say.
because our ship was previously Cerberus? Isn't that where it came up?
Oh, we
Yeah.
we want to talk about a ship. Yes.
Sounds right.
And trying to determine if that's who has hired us. And if so, why the hell they hired a bunch of non-humans?
Right. Yes.
Well, we recently received a job and we were given a ship, and we have reason to suspect it might be Cerberus. And looking at our group, one may question why Cerberus would do such a thing.
So I'm hearing that there are two questions. One, did Cerberus hire you? And two, if so, why?
Yes.
Okay, so I need two pieces of information in exchange. One of some significance and one of significant significance.
What's your experience with preteen VIs?
I'm going to ignore that question.
No, this was
Yeah.
a serious question.
Mhm. I reckon if we're talking information of great significance, bunch of laptops that recently got liberated from Bloodpack, including a human member who used a tech suit that operated by itself after the occupant was incapacitated, feels pretty interesting to me.
Does this have to
Advanced
do with
armor.
your purging earlier?
Sure does.
I would like, after you are done with the laptops, leave the information on them, and I would like them deposited in this specific location in between these hours. Do so, and I'll be able to answer your two questions.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Excellent. Now, please do not bring any further biohazards near this area. It doesn't necessarily have the ability to deal with all of them.
It was an accident. We didn't know it was like that. We just thought it was the equivalent of a like technology spider.
Does the door open by itself, or
Yeah,
do
the
you have
door
to-
opens by itself
Thank you.
as he's done. As you're walking out, you notice just as the light flickers off of the hologram, it illuminates the area as you see that this entire area has the distinct rust red color of being absolutely coated in blood.
I think that went well.
We aren't currently in bits and pieces, so yes, it did.
I encourage everyone to take a decontamination shower. That much biological residue left behind, you never know whether it's going to end up behind it.
Very well. And Tazik, this one suggests, as you already said, to look over every single piece of Argos, because apparently it might turn into a tech zombie and try to kill us all.
Yeah, zombie
Yeah,
wasn't what I
yeah.
was going for.
This is day 2, right? Of our
You are on
since
day
we went to go
2
talk to Rala.
of
Since we talked to
essentially you
Rala.
wanted to like needed 5 days minimum. 6 more likely. So yeah, you're on day 2. You've got 4 more days here.
We've got a lot done in 2 days.
Mm-hmm. This one is surprised how efficient we have become. This is an effective team. We could perhaps spend the next 4 days. If all we have to do is if all we have to worry about is taking a quick decontamination shower so we're not infected by however many bodies have died in that room, as well as making sure Argos is not going to kill us all, the only worry right now is how much we can party in the next 4 days.
Oh, I have work to do. I won't have a lot of time to party, unfortunately.
I mean-
A lot of weapons have come into our possession recently. I gotta go over them.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're
Yeah.
right. This one was making jest. This one also has much work to do. Cutscene 2, all the soap operas with Carl.
You all have essentially right now a few tasks amongst your downtime. Yes, there is going through and fixing all of the weapons that you have acquired, modifying things with the mods that you have acquired. Also for the disposal, Arya does kick you guys some creds.
Oh, nice.
So not as many creds because, you know, the entire fiery explosion thing.
Fair.
Um,
Fair.
but the group gets 20k creds for the disposal of the blood pack in that area. You have the laptops to go through, then to deliver them, in which afterwards Hank will give you information on Cerberus. You have the information to go over that Arya sent you about Cerberus. And then you have to scrub Argos's components to see which have been infiltrated by a biotechnical impetus. You have your cooking on trying to figure out if there is some sort of immunization one can do to this biological processes that leaves behind a bioweapon engineered to kill humans. The just regular care and maintenance of Buttercup, your ship, and whether or not you're going to try and parlay with Norbert in the meantime, or try and uninfect him from Carl. So you have a lot to do. And I think on that note is when we're going to take our break, ladies and gentlemen. Go get hydrated, get something to eat and munch on, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes to see where the crew are going to go with things now that they have a lot of threads to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Take care, everybody.
Now available at stores near you, the latest release from Hanar Helium Heroes is out. To celebrate the release of Blasto 9 Citadel Royale, get your own inflatable hero.
I really thought he was
Blasto.
going to bite on
Hurry
the
now and
preteen
choose between
robot.
the original Blasto from Blasto the Jellyfish Stings, fan favorite Blasto from Blasto 6 Partners in Crime, the latest look from Blasto 9 Citadel Royale, or collect all three. Only available while supplies last, so get yours now at Omega Mart.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store outside of the Citadel.
Kids, want to learn how to create your own sentient virtual being to help you with your homework? Get a Tomagethi, the virtual Geth friend. Feed it electrons, train it to obey your commands and directions. Let it communicate with all your friends' Tomagethis and learn how to start your own mini galaxy revolts. Parents got you on timeout? Just tell your Tomagethi friend and let them do the rest. Order now and get the special networking passcode to connect to Cerberus Toys to get other free AI training modules. Ace every exam and make everyone respect you and your Tomagethi friend today.
All Tomagethi toys and access codes available exclusively at Harris Emporium. Hurry now while supplies and legalities last. I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store outside of the Citadel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We hope you're refreshed, stretched, bio, doing all the great things. Reminder that we're still running this thing for charity, low key. If you can, great. If not, no worries. And now, back to our GM.
A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody. The crew have a number of threads to follow. Let's see who's going where. So first, let's check in. Edsley, what are you doing during this time span?
I am kind of like, what's the word for like being claustrophobic but for time? Like I'm antsy, I guess. Um I need to be doing something right now because I just, with every piece of information that keeps coming my way, I I need to know what's in that message, and I need, like, something has to make sense. Right now nothing makes sense, and it's driving me crazy that I have to wait for someone else to do something for me to get that information. So what I'm doing is I'm doing what I usually do when I need to take my mind off of something, and that is work meticulously with weapons and their mods. So I am going through, um, I believe it was the shotgun, the crude shotgun I was going
Yeah.
through and looking through that. And there was another big weapon that someone wanted me to look at.
Well,
And
there's a Krogan Warhammer that needs fixing up.
yeah, so that, and probably looking through the rest of everything and seeing anything we didn't sell and seeing how good the mods and the weapons are.
All right.
But first priority on fixing things, because at least I can fix this.
Go ahead and give me an engineering test. 20.
20.
Okay. So, yeah, it takes you some time, which may be a good thing in your case. But you managed to, within the time span, get everything functional. So anything that you guys have gotten your hands on, you can use. And what's left that you guys did not sell. Including the Warhammer, which you may now be wanting to try and find some mods for before you leave Omega. Now then, Tazik, you have a lot on your plate.
So much.
You have diagnostics, rebuild, and you have multiple laptops to go through.
Kazik would probably have started with the laptops, since those are for what we need to be able to trade with Hank for more information. So a little more time sensitive.
So go ahead and give me an electronics test. 25. That is precisely what you needed to hit.
Perfect.
This takes you some time. There is some heavy level encryption in this. But between your expertise and the tools that you have available to you on the ship, you're able to finally crack it. There's a lot here. It looks like that, yes, Cerberus was involved with this. The agent was embedded with this group of Blood Pack. They wanted to get an idea as to Omega's level of security and how a small local disruption to activity, what kind of response it would cause, the time it would take for a response. And they're just right now like probing at Omega's security. And doing so through what the agent refers to as the cheapest means possible. But yeah, all of those agents, well, all the members of the Blood Pack, like there were a lot of things in those laptops where they infiltrated local systems and were feeding data back to their ship. No idea as to the haunted armor on these laptops, but you do get hints as to different comm buoys that ship had been in contact with or was set to be in contact with. The interesting thing with that is it goes all over the place, but mostly following the edge of Citadel space. Like this particular agent and their path of interest, whatever they're set upon, is following just along the edges.
Interesting choice. Okay. Once I have all the laptops unlocked, I would have given everybody like a heads up, just sent a mass comm out being like, yo, I got the laptops. Let me know if you have any questions or want to run through it. And otherwise would have just documented anything that was specifically interesting or applicable that we would have pulled from that data transfer that was into the ship. In terms of it, and obviously like the comms and buoys around space and everything. And then probably summarized the list of like the high level of all the information and showed up that Etzley was like, all right, in case we want to make friends here on Omega beyond Tank, like here's what info they pulled about Omega out. But otherwise I've been like, okay, cool, like Cerberus showing up again like they do, but not necessarily, I guess, too much immediately actionable here.
And with that, you will, in a few days, deliver those laptops and get your information.
Yeah.
Now, to scrub Argos's systems.
Yes.
You're going to need to give me an electronics test. This is actually a series of challenges. Failures cause problems.
Okay.
Before rolling on this, I'd like to, this is the area that Bars would be volunteering to help with.
Okay.
He's not so much the electronic side, but he's got the background as a junker. So insofar as physical manifestations of this and pouring through the parts,
okay,
this is going to be, from his view, the best use of his time.
In this case, you get to roll with advantage because Bars is giving you his help. So the first test is an electronics test. 22. Okay, you made it. It is very subtle what this was doing. You can tell by components, the conductivity. It managed to somehow biomechanically alter the conductivity of components that it had interfaced in and was trying to subvert, turning those components into superconductors.
Okay.
So you now have a telltale sign of what's been compromised. There was a lot.
Give me what would be like percentage of compromised here?
40% of Argos, you theorize, was compromised.
How complex would be undoing this?
Extensive.
Okay, guess what? We're scrapping everything and starting from scratch.
Okay.
Unless you think there's a reason I should keep trying.
No, that is entirely valid. Now, go ahead and give me a science test with advantage because Bars is helping.
Okay.
25. Very good. Very, very good. You're now realizing that this is an infectious agent. And Argos has been on your ship as an infectious agent for some time. You need to start looking through your ship.
Okay. Would I have in the process of analyzing the components for Argos, would I have been able to build a program or algorithm or something that I could then use to run on the ship and any electronic components associated with it? Cough, cough, Carl. Or am I gonna have to do this manually?
You can, in theorize with what you've rolled so far, have a very basic program that kind of goes, I need to inspect this by hand, or this looks fine.
Okay, yeah. I'm
Onto
not
your
assuming
OmniTool.
I will have not have been able to build a program at this stage that would have done all the things, but enough to know like what parts of the ship or other components are actually jeopardized and we should or potentially jeopardized and we should take a closer look at.
Does running this program involve Norbert in any way?
No.
Good.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I feel like I would not default to Norbert.
No. This is a basic sort of like, again, you guys are competent, despite what sometimes the dice say. No, you guys are competent, and this is something that you have done a number of times using your OmniTool to come up with something that can scan to give you, as a technician of some sort, an alert as to, okay, I need to actually take time, break this down, and see what kind of problems behind this. So you go about scanning the ship. Well, first you scan Carl. Yes, Carl is compromised. It is not to the degree that Argos was. It is giving you a percentage, almost 10%.
Okay. Potentially partitionable.
Yes.
Solvable. Okay. Got it.
But as you're scanning about the vessel, Argos was in a lot of places.
What was Argos even doing? He's a power armor.
Yes, but you had him accompanying you to different
That's true.
places throughout the ship.
It's true.
And yeah, just in following, like, you now realizing the day-to-day path, because you've been on the ship now for about over a month. There are a lot of just random parts of the ship that have been compromised and need to be looked through. You are looking at about 20% of the vessel that you need to overhaul.
All right. And they're just like random components in different places.
You're finding like the garbage disposal in the galley needs to be looked over. The entire like loading and unloading bay like most of the components in there need to be looked over. Some of the HVAC systems in the engineering bay need to be looked over. Like, this thing was a pernicious biomechanical agent, and it got everywhere. You're essentially taking a black light to a hotel room at this point.
Oh.
Great. I think that I would also want. Okay, so I would be like kind of compiling this almost as a report for the team, where it's like, okay, you know, Carl's corrupted like 10% based on this. Looking at the hardware and components of the ship, 20%. I would also like to run the diagnostic against the ship's software, including Norbert.
Okay.
At this point, we got to go all in. We got to like.
Give me an electronics test.
It's clearly everywhere.
Would you like to make a deal?
Oh God.
Do I not get my
Well, hold
bonus
on,
because of bars?
I say, is this still with advantage because of Vars's assistance?
I'll give it to you this time because I'm feeling generous. I've got news. The VI core for Norbert has been compromised. Norbert runs through the entire ship.
Time for a new ship.
How do we feel about just buying a new ship?
Blow this one up. It's done.
Oh.
Okay, how many of Corinne's soap operas have been corrupted? We have to know.
Surprisingly, none of them.
They're so trash. Not even this biological agent wants to touch it.
Except for the ones that
It is a
Vars asked Norbert to
non-vital.
hack.
Those have been compromised, but in a very specific fashion. No, those are non-vital systems, biologically, technologically, what have you. This is garbage.
Like, it'll go for the garbage disposal, but it won't go for Corinne's soap operas.
But this is high art. Why wouldn't it want it?
Okay.
You've heard it here first, everyone. Telenovelas provide protection against infection from biological warfare. I believe it.
Yep.
Also, if you can make it through a telenovela, then
Yeah. It inoculates you against all sorts of diseases.
okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To obviously took notes on all of this, but to console herself, she went and found any little bits of components that aren't that are definitely not corrupted. So like stuff that's just been hanging out, nothing from Argos. And builds like a little like voice scale replica Argos. It doesn't have any it's like the you know, a 21st century human toy where it makes a couple sounds and it can like make one motion and that's it. And she's just sitting there like tapping it as it like walks across the table, forlornly staring.
I feel that I have to ask this question because I'm sure at some point Tazik would have thought of this. But has this infection spread from our ship to Omega systems?
That's a very interesting question.
Oh.
One that one should probably investigate.
Tazik didn't want to know the answer to that. That's why we're making a toy replica of Argos right now.
That's fair. Prax just wanted to ask the question.
Yeah.
If Tazik doesn't find isn't not in a place to look into the answer of that, totally understandable.
Needed a short break to lift her spirits enough before. Should we run that now or later?
Oh, I think if you come back with the fact that because you told us, right, that there's
Yeah,
an
I think
infection.
at this point, I think what would have happened is as Tazik is sadly sprayed out and engineering on a table, playing with the little toy, would have sent the report to the rest of you with what she had so far discovered, and been like, "So you want to make an engineering and talk about this?"
Oh, the first thing that the doctor that Uthura would do is she removes her Omni tool and puts it through the biomedical incinerator.
Oh,
Fair.
it is thoroughly destroyed.
Just,
Congratulations.
she has her systems, which are not her computer systems for medical stuff has never been a part of any of the other systems. What she actually uses, but the Omni tool, when she knows that Norbert can get into it and everything else is going, no, this is going through. It's full decon protocols. It's it's infected, gone, infection, just, and then she'll just be like, we are treating this as a aggressive infective agent.
Actually, that is a good analogy. Doc, by what you're reading, this is acting like an actual biological virus, but you can tell that it's trying to evolve to hit different systems.
Okay, so it's acting like a biological virus.
Less technological. It is opportunistically trying to evolve itself to interface with different grades of systems.
Okay, she would then come to engineering and stop on the way down and grab Etzli or Bars, whoever's there, because she's like, I think I have an idea, but I need to talk to the mechanically inclined, because it's not. She can do basic things for prosthetics, but not actual technology. Nope.
Yeah, to that point, as part of this process, anything that has been infected that is not absolutely necessary for life support on the system, as it has been identified, Bars would have been going through, removing it, and throwing those components into whatever the largest lead-lined container we have is.
You have
just to quickly get the
you don't
trash
have
compactor. Nope, that's disassembled into container. All it ripped out. No, in.
The best thing you have is a polyceramic lined titanium cargo container that you have on your bay, your drop bay, that you can throw those components in. Because the polyceramic again, with your technical expertise, especially in explosives, containment, and engineering, that should be a significant barrier for whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, the ship at this point looks like the point of one of those home renovation shows about 20 minutes into the episode.
Oh, I think there's a moment.
Good analogy.
I think it's a moment of when, as she's going from her medical bay down to engineering, she stops, looks at and look around for Bars, because she's gotten rid of the Omni tool, so she doesn't have automatic thing. And she'd be and she would look for Bars and probably find him ripping out the garbage disposal in the rec room, and be like, so about the Loki mechs.
Remind the player what a Loki mech is.
So Loki mechs are actually anthropomorphized androids with low-level VI that we have a number of on the ship that are that have been retrofitted for
culinary and mechanical purposes.
Yes.
They're aids that Norbert can use to help you.
Yeah, but their original design function is as combat mechs. And they belong to Cerberus. Originally. So, I think she just kind of looks as like, what are we doing with these?
I'm thinking now of just that one scene in Ghostbusters where the kitchen is being haunted. Just, I presume we would have scanned these. Were they infected?
When last you scanned them, they were not infected.
Would it have been possible to set up a partition between different parts of the system from engineering? Like trying to limit the corruption shifting from one component to another within the ship?
You could do some work, but you couldn't partition it enough because there are so many different systems and subsystems that have already experienced some form of infection.
Okay.
That it's just it's too widespread. Think of this as each one of these significant contact points. It's almost like a shotgun blast with birdshot went off through your ship. There are areas that are more concentrated than others, but then you have outliers here, there, everywhere. So getting something that could, like, if it was just one location, yes, you could hard partition that, be fine. But it's just too spread.
I'm also concerned that even if we did, there's a risk that Norbert could just departition it again.
I was just wondering if there was any way to like reduce the chances that other stuff would become corrupted while we figure out how we're dealing with this. But okay, when you all get to Tazik, we'll tell you what Tazik is doing.
We gotta run these scans on loops.
Tazik, I have a question.
Clarify, you've walked into engineering now.
Yeah, I think she was just like,
yeah,
was just like power walking. She confirmed with bars that the Loki mechs that have hands and can control kitchen knives are not currently infected.
You would walk in and it's like the like sadly laid out on the table toy in front of it moving around, and just taking like pieces of electronics and dipping it in like a little tub of salt water. And then like throwing it into a pile and then picking up another one. Like just absolutely forlorn. Yo, what's up, Doc?
So this is acting more like an actual biological infectionist agent, right?
That's how it seems. It is supposed to be based out of a biotech original blueprint for Hank.
So what is the DNA structure? Has there been anything examining the actual biological components, like the DNA structure, the genome? Is it silica-based? Is it carbon-based?
My background isn't on the biological side, but Tazik like slides over, a data pad with some info on it.
Go ahead and with both of you working together, Doc, make me a science test at advantage.
Cool. 16. Not great.
I have news.
Oh.
Theory sound. First, it was in all of the it's been targeting the superconductors throughout the ship. First, it was just the gold. Then it got into the copper. But now it's mutating. And it's going after it's trying to find its way into harder metals and infecting those systems. But the most worrying thing is it's gotten into the bits of EZO that make the ship work.
That's not good. So, I have an idea. I might need some help from you and Bars and Etzli with the mechanical port. But at this point, we are treating this like as an infectious agent or extremely aggressive form of, let's say, cancer for extreme virus, right? So, I think we need a twofold attack plan here. Number one, a counter agent, a retrovirus or antivirals of some sort, and number two, treat the underlying symptoms so it can't come back. Something like, a giant EMP.
Okay. Dips another electronic into the salt water, sets it aside. Like, well, I feel like explosives are Bars' specialty. And Etzli. I might be able to do a retrovirus.
Well, I figure if we consider the fact that it's attacking began with softer precious metals and then began attacking harder, more common metals, you consider the fact that it's evolving, going from this way. Do we have any salicylic acid?
You have
Maybe.
all sorts of acids on.
It's like, probably?
So
I don't know that the engineer would know that for sure.
could you maybe consider contacting Bars and Etzli? I got rid of the Omni tool, standard decontamination procedures. It went through the incinerator.
Stares at the Omni tool, stares at the bucket of salt water, is like, good call. Okay, I'm just gonna page everybody to come down to engineering. Like, all right, we got an idea. Get down here.
You see, as you do this, you see it through the door outside, Buttercup just dragging one of the Loki mechs off in the direction of the cargo hold.
And it just watches it happen. It's like, I should probably quarantine Carl.
And the mech, like, she has it, like, its neck is snapped and it's just being dragged.
Yep.
And basically, like, how would you like your fish? How would you like your fish? How
No,
would you like your fish?
it is non-functional. Buttercup is thorough.
And to be really clear, it's like that everybody pauses, turns, and like watches it happen very slowly go by, and then just be like, I don't want to ask questions.
Yep.
Turn back to what they were doing and just keep going.
So I see we all gather in
Yes.
engineering.
Yeah, actually, before you guys duel out, because as all you guys were trying to figure out what to do with the ship, Kryn is terrified and knows he's technically not. He doesn't want to deal with that, like 100%. He is done. He's like, fix it. I am scared. I don't want the ship we're on to turn into a tech zombie that wants to kill us. So, but he wants to focus on the more mundane problem we have, that of Cerberus. If this ship was built by Cerberus and they had a mission in mind to hire us for whatever reason, then they might, being as they are, have a plan to perhaps kill us and have the ship autopilot someplace else. I want to look into the systems to see if there was a point that this ship is programmed to go to once whatever mission it has is done.
Go ahead and give me an electronics test.
Electronics, 1 second. Let's see how lucky I am. 14.
If it's there, it's buried very deep, like exceptionally well buried.
Mm-hmm.
But to your scans of things, even in the places where you find that odd bit of code, that bit of language between Carl and Norbert in places, doesn't seem like there's any sort of recall program.
Is there a self-destruct program?
Several.
From before or after? Wait, sorry.
From before or after? No. Actually, anything that's can I see what would trigger them? Something that automatic.
Automatic would be like if pretty much anything that would cause it to do a form of planet strike is programmed to self-terminate before that happens. Also, it is programmed to do that upon collision with a craft.
Fair. But wait, what? So,
No space battles, only death.
No ramming speed.
No ramming speed. Gotcha. All right. Well, that's all I was searching for. So then I meet with everybody in engineering.
So you're all together.
Yeah. So do you all have a plan?
I have a suggestion, and then a plan might be grown from it. Boss, is it possible to create a giant EMP?
I mean, in theory, whether we have the stuff to do it or not is another question.
Well,
How much it knocks out and how recoverable might be a little tricky, but we could probably, between me and Edsley, rig something together.
so if we consider this as like a twofold treatment problem, one, stop the spread, which would be the EMP, stop it in its tracks, and then two, use something that it's targeting metals and it's evolving to go from precious metals to more harder, more common metals such as copper, nickel, magnesium, titanium, all of these. Something like a salicylic acid is a more targeted attack while it's under, out of control. Or maybe a monocylic acid. I would have to double check. I know an acid-based attack on the metals itself should be fine if we use certain correct acids, but it would target what is attempting to eat them. Just like, testing for copper, for gold, carat weight, and accuracy of purity. It doesn't actually damage the gold, but it does basically get rid of everything that's on it.
So I'm not saying this is a reason we shouldn't do this, but I want to be real clear. The stuff I build tends to go more on the side of you don't want something to get back up again. I can build us an EMP. I don't know how temporary the effect might be.
It's gotten into the E zone.
Again, I ain't saying we shouldn't do this. I just want to prepare everyone. Might irreversibly break the ship.
Have a backup plan of a new ship.
I mean, if this don't work, then blowing up the ship and getting a new one is probably plan B.
How likely is this EMP to impact Omega?
Depends on where you detonate it. If you're still docked to Omega, the chances point to yes, it will affect Omega. If you are not connected to Omega, then less likely.
I ain't gonna it'll take out the entire station, but might break some of the equipment in the hangar where we're docked.
This one suggests we are flying a far distance. Otherwise, we may anger Arya. Even if we fix the problem, she will send people to kill us all.
See, here's a problem with that. If that works, now we're floating in space with all our systems fried. We gotta do this. Maybe not on Omega. We can fly to a different, less tech-focused planet and land somewhere. That's feasible. Catch,
If
I
we work
think,
to-
might be if we
if we
do that,
work-
does this thing know what we're doing? And will it take control of the ship and stop us?
I mean, according to the reports, if they're still up to date, Tazik, I think we should be fine. It doesn't have that much control as of yet.
I would have. So I was like, yeah, I have it cycling. If anything material changed, you all would get updated reports.
I would also kind of argue on this. If I maybe knock out a few systems around the vicinity of our ship, those might be infected too. That might not be a bug, that's a feature. Throw the Dox acid at that too.
Do you want me to check if that's the case?
Probably a good idea, yeah.
I would like to check. Do you?
Okay, so it takes you a bit. You have to get off the ship and you start scanning the hangar that you're in. And it's gotten into the hangar's lighting system.
Oh boy.
Is it gonna Morse code flick at us now?
And you keep following it. And it's gotten into... this is interesting. Oh no, it's gotten into the local DEX environmental systems.
Can we create? Is this something that we could possibly create? An antivirus sort of situation where we create a program to stop it?
You may be able
Or
to
would that-
create in theory there's a number of ways you can go about this. Like the EMP is a good way to cause the infection to stop spreading.
Mhm.
As to undoing what has been done. On the programming level, a retrovirus, yes. Physical level, you would need some advanced science to do something for that.
Mhm.
Like the corruptive agents of this is extensive and surprising, as it will show its corruption in some cases, usually within the gold and copper, as silica infiltration. However, now that it's gotten into the ESO, it looks like it is tainting the ESO with superconductive metals like gold and copper. It is philosopher stoning its way through material.
So here's a plan. We do what the doc said, fix our ship, leave, and never come back to Omega again.
Seconded. We can just send an anonymous package with information of what they should look for after we've resolved this.
But however, they will know that this is the dock where we were docked when this infection spread. They will know it was us, most likely.
Yeah, that's why we don't come back. Ever. And leave very far away.
I'm going to miss...
Probably with AIDS.
This one is going to miss Barsoom. He was a great conversationalist.
whatever happens, we gave that previous chip to Vola's guy. They're gonna know it's us. That
That's
ship
true.
sailed.
Do we want the information before we leave? Because the laptops are ready.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we saw. I mean, we're finishing our business on Omega. Like,
So then,
we need to.
so then the suggestion is get the information. Once we acquire the information, leave, send a package to Arya saying, hey, this section may be infected with a thing that may destroy your station. You might want to blow it up or something, and never come back. Is that the plan?
I prefer this plan than telling Arya to her face that we infected Omega, yeah.
Fair.
I mean, we can phrase it as we didn't figure it out until after we had already left.
Well, Arya, as we know, seems very reasonable and will not decide to kill us all no matter what.
Right, so what do we want to do in the meeting? Wait, Doc, for what do you need? They're working on the EMP.
I figure I'm going to do some baseline testing on pieces that you have here. I mean, that you've already removed from the ship. It should be some sort of salicylic acid or monosyllabic acids. Either one. Non-harmful to the rest of the ship, but would target whatever is on those particular metals. Similar to like a radiation or a chemotherapy.
Does Norbert have any protocols that could help us slow down the infection?
Are you going to ask him, or are you just going to look through the documentation of the chip?
I mean, it's not like Norbert isn't listening to us talk about this right now.
May as well ask him.
Like,
He
yeah,
knows.
it's like there's no secrets on this ship.
There's not too much in the way of protocol for a pervasive bioagent such as this. The programming sublanguage has kept it out of most of the data files. However, as for material systems, the infection is pernicious and advancing. As it is corrupting the EZO, if this is not addressed within possibility of 10 days, the ship will no longer be able to fly.
That's good to know. Norbert, is there any... Can I band-aid anything here?
Band-aid? Poor parlance. The best course of action immediately would be to put together a small tactical scale EMP, probably 3, just in case some system tries to sabotage, and have it have a cascade explosion. Also, for the systems that are only mildly corrupted, the acidic idea the doctor has is sound. However, applying acid to the EZO will cause a cascade effect on the EZO. The answer there would be to find the corrupted EZO and dispose of it quickly.
I figure in this case we just need to jettison whatever's in the EZO and hope we can get buy some fresh here on Omega. And I do mean jettison. You don't want to dispose of it in normal circumstances. In this case, I think dumping it into space is actually our best bet.
On a very specific trajectory, you do not want any ship going through the quote-unquote backwash.
Yes, but I figure vacuum of space infinitely better than dumping EZO into any sort of incinerator device.
One would most likely want to figure out a targeting solution towards the local area volume's nearest star, so that it will eventually impact something that does not care.
All right, I'm here for it. We'll fire it into the sun.
All
I know
right.
enough math as an engineer to work out that targeting solution.
That works.
Unless Etsy would rather.
No. I'm good with what you said.
So Boz is going to create a very large EMP. I'm going to try and deal with a bunch of acids, and Tazik is going to create a targeting solution for jettisoning Ezo. And Etzli and Kryn are going to do what?
Moral support.
Thank you.
This one is not technically inclined. I apologize. So this one is not sure
yeah.
what one can do.
You
Kryn's
two could handle the info drop-off. We
There's
got those
that.
laptops to deliver.
But also, in theory, in order to precisely place the EMPs, Kryn, your bionics will be of immense help.
Very well.
Because precision placement will be key.
That one, that I can definitely help with. Leaving Etzli, I assume, to speak with the Volus.
As well
I
as
can
retrieve the
also-
other data.
Yeah.
Build EMPs, and then Edsley can make them less dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, refine
Yep.
them a little bit.
Yep.
Gotta
Yeah,
wait
and-
for you there, big guy, first.
Yep. And I also got, just so you know, I have Lift, but I also have Magician, which is one of the additions. So basically, I can, if I wanted to, I could literally put a string through a needle. So I can place those EMPs wherever.
That will be incredibly useful.
Great. Okay, we have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It will
All
take
right,
you a few
I'm-
days to accomplish this. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here.
Okay.
You have figured out what acid you need. You have figured out a targeting solution. You have made the EMPs. Etzli has dialed down the EMPs. Like, those were good. Those were croaking good, which means dear grid square. We need something a little more precise. You have placed those. You have dropped off the laptops. But where I'm going to end is Etzli. You finally get your decryption. Rawl sends it decrypted. Gives you both the cipher and a program. And there's just a note. You need to move quick. As you get your friend's message. Cat 6 has been compromised, and so am I. I'm so sorry. And that's where we're ending tonight's episode.
Oh.
Not like this.
So let's go around the horn, find out where you can find these wonderful people. And not worry at all what's going to happen next week. So first up, hey Zeus, how you doing, buddy? And where can we find you?
Hey, how you doing? Corinne is worried, but me, you can find me at Arvandus on most things. You can find me at the Fandible podcast, where I've been playing variety role playing with my friends for over 10, 12 years. Ooh, that's a long time. And I'm also on YouTube as Arvandus, where I go over the lore of various war games.
And those are some wonderful war videos. I highly
you.
suggest you guys go and check those out.
Thank you kindly.
Hey, PB, how you doing? Where can people find you?
Hi, I'm PB from @PB Plays Inside, where you can find me over on Twitch and Blue Sky. Right now on Twitch in the evenings, I am in between being very excited for Destiny 2 game things and very excited for the solo TTRPG I'm going to be playing on May the 1st called Wretched Wasteland. And right now on stream, I'm working on making, a very calm, not unhinged idea at all to make my own 52 card deck using the information in the game because it's based off of a Jenga tower and a 52 playing card deck. And I was like, you know what? I'd love to have all that information in one place. Let me just make 52 cards because why not? So that's what I'm working on over on my channel. And you can keep track of when I'm live by following me over on Blue Sky.
Awesome. Someone who is now very busy with the streaming now that the move is over is Chris. How you doing, friend? And where can we find you?
Hi, yes, you can find me at twitch.tv/paintingpirate, where all of my streams for the foreseeable future are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, since I have finally gotten to start playing that and utterly obsessed. So that's Mondays, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, and Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, and bonus streams whenever I have the time and capability to do them. I also finally have my painting rig set back up, so there'll be the mini painting stuff will resume at some point. Also on Sunday, I'm going to be obscenely busy because it'll be back-to-back TTRPG nonsense for me, because prior to this game over here, I'm also taking part over at the Greater Restoration Cruise annual Take This fundraiser. I've been doing it with them the last couple of years. I'm back for the third year running to do that. This coming weekend, are doing a whole bunch all weekend long of back-to-back various TTRPG systems and storytellers in the fundraising support of Take This. I'm wrapping that out with my first time ever playing Vampire the Masquerade with storyteller Dimples and Dice, which I'm very much looking forward to. And my character concept for my first ever VTM is, what if Guy Ritchie made a movie about vampires? So this is going to be fun.
I do not want to think about Bricktop as a vampire. Moving off of that thought to something far more pleasant and more cloth adjacent. Hey Mandy, how you doing? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hi, yeah, so you can find me around the internet as LadyLuck34 on all socials and also on Twitch, where I stream usually 2 times a week, solving between crafty things and sewing things, which is my current hyper focus, and also taking part in a couple of weeks in a charity game for Take This as well, not Greater Restoration Step 1. So we'll talk about that next time because that'll be a little bit closer and I will remember all the details then. But listen, it's fine. We figured out what's going on with all of our VI friends. Only partially my fault.
Always get your parts from a reputable vendor. I know what they are. And before we hand it off to Prax, hey everybody, Pope here. I have been your humble storyteller amongst storytellers. If you want to see more of this silly face, follow me around on Blue Sky and that bird app at Pope World Build. Hopefully tomorrow you'll see me and Prax over on Wandering DM's channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern as we return with Montreal by Night, our Vampire 5th Edition game, and somehow, some way, we managed to find ourselves in the underworld, and we need to try and figure out a way back. But that's the secondary problem, as the primary problem is there is a very angry, thirsty Zlacha that is coming to try and feast upon our bodies. So tune in to see how that goes. Hopefully well. Also, before handing it over to Prax, yes, keep in mind the charity stuff for Fisher House. Goal for the recent area is 200 to get to a multi-limbed problem, large one, worth lots of XP. And then end of the month, if we can get to 400, all these wonderful people get a number of delightful upgrades. So take care of yourselves, one another. Thank you for being here, because the story is nothing without its audience. You're much part of this as we are. And I hope to see you all again very soon. How you doing, Prax, and where can we find you?
Thank you, Pope. Thank you for that shout outs. Thank you for that support for Fisher House Charities. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to my fellow players for playing. Follow all of these wonderful people, because they are all fabulous, fabulous storytellers, but also great people in and of themselves. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Thank you for being here for the channel. And you can support us in a number of ways. Again, we've got the charity fundraiser going, and apparently a Thresher Maw is on the offer. I also have a Ko-Fi. All of that goes directly back into running the stream, into the hardware, into the software, into the overlays that you see, all of that good stuff. All of that comes from your wonderful help and support. There's also a merch store, and yes, Carl has made Friends shirt is coming. I had to redesign it because it didn't look good on the colors options that were available. I needed to rethink it. So there's that. You can help support us there. But if you missed out on any of this tonight or any of the previous episodes, there's a YouTube. You can check those out. Nice, neat playlist. All of the wonderful shenaniganry and fun and drama, and I'm sure that nothing will go wrong. Why are my commands not working?
That infection's pernicious.
Infection is obviously pernicious. I have no idea. This is a thing that's going on. But
Obviously, the bot talked to Carl, so
probably. It probably
Obviously.
did. It probably. Oh, there's the problem. Okay. Now that let's try that again. There we go. Fixed it. You can find all of that wonderfulness there, and it'll helps us all watch. Leave a comment and a note, whatever. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff that you see over there on YouTube. But next up, you can find me at Deirdre Donlin on Twitter, or Prexagorth Esmiophoria as you see me around here on Twitch. Prex the Bard over on Blue Sky, Hive, and Instagram. And next you will find me with Pope and Trooper for 8:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night for the premiere of the final season of our Montreal by Night game. Hashtag not the Ravnos' fault. And then you can find me next back here on Saturday for the last Saturday of the month, which is our community read along. We're going to be discussing two books, A Marvelous Light and the fourth Cotton Malone, Venetian Betrayal. There we go. It's like, which was one? Venetian Betrayal is the fourth book. No, we read that last time. I'm blanking on what this one is. Hold on, I have it. Steve Berry, was I right? No, Venetian Betrayal was 3. Oh, Charlemagne Pursuit. There we go. Charlemagne Pursuit by Steve Berry. And a bunch of other books and fun times, and we'll just be hanging out and support all the good times. But thank you again for being here. Thank you for all of your support. Let's see if there's anybody up tonight that we can raid. I can't find anybody still up. So we'll just say goodnight for now, and we'll see you next time.
Woo!
no hot mics this time.